Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag. United States. To the republic. Nation. Under God. Indivisible. Liberty and justice. All right. First item on the agenda is personal appearance. Ken is on.
Yes, yep.
Is there any personal appearances this evening? Come on up.
Just present myself here, right?
Yep, you bet.
Yeah, my name's Norm Broughton, and I've been active in horseshoes for 10 years. And the reason I'm here today is tonight is need some assistance for mowing and cutting the weeds on the horseshoe courts at the Moose Park. I guess the Moose area, there's a lodge there, and then we have 8 courts with 16 pits, and there's also, I think, a volleyball area. But last year we started with league play with about 8 or 9 people, ended up with 5 or 6 people. We're not a non-sanctioned league, but I just need some help with the grass and the weeds mainly, maybe 3 times a year. I'm thinking around Memorial Day, and maybe after the 4th, mid-July, and then perhaps a little bit after Labor Day. If I can get some help mowing the grass and getting the weeds out of there, it makes it look a lot better. So if the park board could help, the club would appreciate it. Like I said, we're not a sanctioned club anymore. We've lost some members, but I like to keep it going. And horseshoes is an activity for all groups, all ages. It's a great, I call it a community engagement sport because it can really create, a healthy environment activity. So I'm just, if you have any other questions, hopefully I can get some help with the mowing and the weeds. I think some of it's done on the outside of the courts once or twice a year, but the city might do part of it. But I'm just trying to find ways to kind of keep a trimmer and get the grass down and the weeds, control the weeds a little bit. So
Sure.
and that's about it. So
Okay. Is that property Moose property then? Is that one of the
I
Moose
think-
Lodge? Or
I think the Moose owns the property, the club.
Okay.
And the club got started about 1995. I started about 2013. I've been involved about 10 years. We've lost some members. It's I think the original club people put up a clubhouse, the fence, the pits. We have 16 pits, pretty nice runways down there. I think it's on the Park Board website, horseshoes and activity. Also at the Leech Park. I'm not sure about that, but it's kind of a triangle area down there with a park, Moose Park, the club, and also the horseshoe pit. So,
Sure.
and I'd just like to kind of get some help and keeping it up a little bit. So that's the main thing I'm here for tonight, I guess. So, and like I said, if I could get a phone number to call somebody next spring and keep in contact, and especially the inside of the courts to kind of keep them clean and neat and tidy, I guess.
Sure. I appreciate you coming, Norman. I think is what we'll do is we'll direct our staff to look into it. And,
Okay,
I mean, if you want to, Ellie be the main,
Allie's the one to contact me.
yeah, be the one to contact.
Maybe
And,
next May sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. And if
Yeah,
you just
I'll
want to
talk
leave
with
your
you.
phone number and information, and we can get in contact with
Okay,
you too to
and
meet
then I'll
beforehand,
keep
that'd
in
be great.
touch with you.
Mhm.
And then, like I said, about 3 times a year, if I can get it
Yep.
mowed and trimmed, that would really make it look nice down there.
Yeah,
And maybe get a few more people involved in it. So maybe get the club going, be a sanctioned club again. So
we'll be happy to sit down and talk to you. So if you can just leave your name and number, and
okay.
you can always call me at the main office too. But
Okay,
if you
should I
have that,
give
that'd
my
be great.
name before I leave? I'll give you my name and number.
Okay,
And then maybe some possible dates next year. Okay,
okay.
roughly, So
Yeah.
I'd appreciate it. So, any other questions?
Norm, just a comment you shared with me, I know that you're sort of a one-man band over there taking care
Yeah,
of
right.
the
It's
place.
been kind of
You
it's hard
have
to
a
get people
group that participates but can't always help with.
right. Yeah, we've lost 4 or 5 individuals. I mean, gone different ways with health issues. And we just need extra support to make it look better down there. And then we did meet every Tuesday night. We played 350 shoe games. But we started with about 8 or 9. We got down to 5 or 6, but those 5 or 6 were pretty steady players. And then some people will use it for enjoyment, relaxation. And I go down there and pitch quite a bit. Now I try to take care of the grounds the best I can, raking, cleaning, garbage. But there comes a time where I got to have some help. So anyway, actually we got nice runways in mine at nice pits. We don't have a roof over our head like some areas do, but hopefully we can keep it going somewhat anyway. So it's a nice, friendly activity in the summer, and something to think about, I guess. But I'll leave you my name
Yeah, good.
and number, and then I'll get in contact with you, Ellie. Okay?
Yeah,
Okay. So
that'd be great.
sounds
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Thank you. Once again, my name's Norm.
Norm Broughton, got it.
Broughton. Okay. So
Thanks,
thank
Norm.
you.
Thank you.
Is there any other personal appearances tonight? I don't think so. Doesn't look like it, but we will move up under new business. We had under old business, we had the 2022 audit report. If we can move that up to under personal appearances, if you want to go ahead, if you're prepared. Callan, do you have anything to add to that at all? Or? Okay.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mindy Piatz with Brady Martz. I'm a partner with Brady Martz, and we perform the audit for the school district. This would be for the year ended 12/31/2022. So I know we're a few months after the fact, so I'll just try and stick to some of the main highlights regarding the audit. Overall, the purpose of when we conduct an audit is to review the financials and give an opinion as to whether the financials are materially in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, or GAAP, which is a full accrual basis of accounting. And so as you can see on the screen, we expressed an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance that we can provide on the financials, meaning the financials are on the full accrual GAAP basis and properly stated. Keep in mind that an audit provides reasonable assurance over the financial information, but not absolute assurance that everything's properly recorded. We do work within constraints of materiality and looking at items as to whether they're material when we're conducting our audit. I would also note that in our auditor's report, we did have an emphasis of matter paragraph regarding a new accounting standard that was implemented for the 2022 fiscal year regarding leases. For governments, this goes both ways. So property that is being leased out to other entities such as user groups or renting out space, the district now has to record a lease receivable for those payments to be received, and then the offset is a deferred inflow. And then for items that the park district leases from others, such as like a copy machine or equipment, they now record a leased asset and then a lease liability. So if you do look at the actual financial statements, you'll see some different items on the financials for that. The other report that we issue as part of our audit is a report on internal control over financial reporting and compliance. So as part of performing the audit, we're required to perform it in accordance with government auditing standards, which means that as part of our audit, we review internal controls as a basis for designing our audit procedures, but we don't express an opinion on internal controls. However, if we find any kind of deficiencies, we are required to notify you in this report. Overall, it's an unmodified report, so it's again the highest level that you can receive. However, we did note one item or a finding that we did note in this report, and that is for improper segregation of duties. Again, this is a repeat finding from prior year's audits, and really the segregation of duties in an ideal world, the accounting functions you would have split up between custody, the actual record keeping, and reconciliation. And due to the limited staff at the park district, a lot of that relies with one person. It's not anything that can be solved other than hiring more additional people, or maybe expanding duties into different positions to try and have those items separated the best that you can. Really the best helpful control to help mitigate this. It doesn't eliminate it, but mitigates it is obviously reviewing invoices and bills that are being paid, which I saw that was on your agenda that we look at, and asking questions about the financials if you don't understand something. So just know that what you do, we do look at for the audit to make sure that you guys are doing that process, because that does help mitigate that deficiency. Overall, just some financial highlights for the year. Overall, you can see in the general fund, cash was actually down about $1.5 million. This is due to some larger capital projects that were going on and were completed during 2022. Those relate to the Leopard exhibit and then the MDCD paving utility project. And then in the foundation, just a slight change. Cash is down about $53,000 from last year. Looking at revenues, expenses, and transfers by fund, you'll see that overall for the general fund, there was revenues are comparable to expenses. Again, in the capital projects fund, this is just a timing difference of when the money is coming in and getting spent out between the items. And again, in the foundation, revenues were pretty close to expenses. Looking at general fund expenditures, overall total expenditures for the general fund equated to around $8 million. So this represents about 2.45% of the general fund balance or the equity. Most governments try to be around a little bit higher percentage, around 10%, where they're maintaining a little bit higher fund balance, just so that if there are bad years, you can weather the down years. Overall, you'll see that park operations account for the largest portion of general fund expenditures, represented about 62% or $4.9 million, followed by recreational activities of about $1.8 million or 23%. Looking at fund balance year over year, really the largest change was in the general fund, and that was a decrease of about, it was a decrease from $4.8 million to $3.3 million, 2022 versus 2021. And then lastly, this is just a schedule of future debt payments. They don't really actually rise further on the right in the table. Those are just grouped in 5-year increments, because that's a similar presentation that's shown in the footnotes. This includes principal and interest. So annually, it's around about $2.7 million each year for what currently the district has in debt and what they're committed to pay in the future. Then looking at the budget versus actual and how those results came in. Overall, total revenues of about $11.3 million came in over budget by $687,000, so more was brought in than what was anticipated. And then expenditures of $11 million were under budget by $2.9 million. So positive both ways. Lastly, as part of our audit, there are items that were required by our professional standards to communicate to the board upon completion of the audit. As we previously discussed, we conducted the audit in accordance with government auditing standards, but then there's also generally accepted auditing standards that are issued by the AICPA that we follow. As part of our audit, we do look at independence and making sure that we're independent of the park district. And that would go from beginning when we start our audit through when we actually issue our report. As part of the financial statements, there are a couple estimates that are sensitive, and they relate to the net pension liability and then the OPEB liability, which is other post-employment benefits, which is the RHIC program of ND PERS that the district employees participate in. These are estimated liabilities that are actually calculated by ND PERS and the park district, right? I believe there's or by the city of Minot, I believe there's a few on the city of Minot plan, that if those plans were to go under or go away, what would the district's true liability for projected benefits based on employees they have be? So we do look at that as part of our audit and test that information. Also, as part of our audit, we didn't identify any material audit entries. So we received the financial information, do our testing, and there were no significant audit entries that we posted to the financials. So I think that gives you high assurance that the financial information you're getting is good quality information, and you can rely on that throughout the year, as we had no entries for the audit. We did have one uncorrected misstatement, and so as part of our audit, if we become aware of differences during our testing, we track those, and then we review those at the end to make sure that cumulatively they don't misstate the financials when you take them all together. And there was only one, and that related to adjusting taxes receivable to actual. I can't remember. It was pretty immaterial amounts, which is why it wasn't adjusted. But that wasn't posted and reflected in the financials. Also, as part of the audit, we didn't have any disagreements or difficulties in getting information or with staff responding to our requests. We do ask at the end of the audit that management sign a representation letter, basically giving us confirmation that they've given us full access to everything and that everything's properly recorded, that they're aware of. And then lastly, we're not aware that management consulted with any other accountants or another firm regarding any kind of technical issue. So I guess if there would be a differing of opinion on how to record something, if the staff would go ask a different firm for a different opinion because maybe they didn't like ours, we are required to notify you of that. But there was no such items like that this year. So with that, that's all I have for the audit, unless anybody has any questions.
Any questions for Mindy?
I have one. I've asked this question before, and I think the answer at that time was it's not something that you audit. But I'd like to ask it again because when I look ahead to the whatever year it was, 28, 29, debt, possibility looking at $7 million, it looks like a mountain coming in where we may need some clarification. Maybe Callan knows about it. But the question is, the general fund and the debt numbers and the bond numbers as a slice of our full picture, are they appropriate? And I ask that question in terms of where are we going? I mean, I know Ellie has worked hard this year, and I think it's going to look a little better next year, which is the way to go, I think, in my opinion. But does that tell us anything, or is that just what you do and you can't help us with that?
Yeah, so I mean, we just audit what you've done based on what I do work with quite a few different local governments, including lots of park districts. And I would say the amount of debt you have doesn't feel, in my personal opinion, that drastically different from other park districts. However, I've never done like a side-by-side and looked at it. I think looking at what I believe within the general fund budget, I don't know, Callan, if you can go back to that slide that has general fund expenditures. So there is the orange pie shape in there. That's principal payments that are actually coming out of the general fund, which I don't have the exact percentage with me. I can get that. So that is built into part of the general fund's budget. I think really when you're looking at your budget number and looking at whether you're raising taxes or not, there's a fine line between balancing how much carryover you've wanted versus how much you're spending down. I noticed the last 2 years the general fund balance has actually gone down, which isn't always great. And as I said before too, usually that general fund expenditure, the vast majority of governments I work with, they try to be in that 10 to 15% range, so that whatever their fund balance is, that represents about 10 to 15% of total general fund expenditures. So I think that's maybe a target to shoot for, and trying to increase that general fund balance back up so that you have it. As far as the debt side, the park district's already entered into that, and those commitments have already been made. But with that too, let me go down to this side. This upswing, it's not actually $7.5 million. This represents 5 years of payments. So in total, it is around about $2.7 million for principal and interest through this year. It does swing up a little in 2024, and that must just be one note coming off, if I remember.
Yeah, 24 is some of the balloon payments we have on they were interest-only debt for the Leopard project and South Hill project, and all of that has been refinanced in the bond that we issued back in July. So
All of
that figure is out of date now.
So that will change.
Correct.
Highest blue line on there.
Yeah,
Has
that will
already
go.
been addressed.
Yes.
So-
That was one of my main concerns. And what you said, and helpful. We haven't actually had that much input before. I'm just looking down the road, and we want to obviously be in a good position, but we want to get in a better position. So it's very helpful to get the audit, but to look ahead and those kinds of things. I'm glad to hear that. I thought it was that, but when the audit's 54 pages long,
Yeah, it's a lot. I tried to condense into some of the more important points that, as a board member, what would I want to know? The other thing too, all the park district audit reports are available on the North Dakota State Auditor's website. So if you ever wanted to kind of slice and dice and see how you compare to other park districts, that is a good reference to go look at too, just to see, are you in line with them, or after where you can make improvements as you go.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else for Mindy? No? I thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. And I also want to thank Ellie and Kellen. Kellen does a really good job getting us all the information. We actually conduct the audit fully remote, which is really a credit to him and his ability to get us all the information that we need and in a timely manner. So we certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We will move on to the Hot Tot season recap if Monica is ready to go.
Awesome. Downloaded this from Canva, so we might have a couple of mistakes, as I see right here. But besides the point, for those of you that don't know me very well, my name is Monica Hawking. I also just changed my name because I just got married. So it was Monica Blake. It's Monica Hawking now. But I am the general manager and managing partner of the Minot Hot Tots. Super excited to be here today, really just to share with you guys the tremendous value that our organization is bringing to the community of Minot, and also to thank you for giving us the opportunity to do so, because without you guys, obviously we wouldn't have that opportunity. I'm not always good at bragging about myself, but I do love to brag about our team and everything we're able to accomplish together. So throughout this presentation, I will share some concrete numbers on the impact that the Hot Tots had this summer in our inaugural season, starting with nonprofit fundraising, then advancement and attendance and tourism, contribution to the local economy, ballpark enhancements, workforce recruitment and retention, and then enhanced quality of life in Minot. So starting off with nonprofit community impact, again, I apologize for a little bit of this. It looks a little messy up there, but that's okay. You get the point. So I would say, if people ask me what we're most proud of for the season, or what I'm most proud of for the season, this is always the first thing I say. So with our mission is to use fun to make a difference. So, I've been saying that for the last year, and until I've been able to present some of these numbers, I think some people, wonder what exactly does that mean. So, it means raising 3,000 pounds of food for our local food pantry at the Lord's Cupboard. It means hosting over 150 kids to our free STEM Expo to give kids the opportunity to learn about industries such as oil and gas and the Minot Air Force Base in a fun, hands-on way. It means growing the game of baseball by offering free camps to 100 kids in the community and organizing a reading program for 4,000 local students to make reading fun. But it also means generating over $52,000 for local nonprofits in our Minot community. Again, this is done through charity jersey auctions, our Miracle Minute and 50/50 raffles during the games, our ticket fundraisers and donations, and then our Strike Out the Stigma promotion, which is it raised $5,800 for the Village Family Services, but it also was raising awareness about mental health in a fun way. So I think that's the unique opportunity that we have as a baseball team. We can talk about different things and raise awareness while also helping raise those funds. Moving on to attendance and tourism. Gosh, guys, sorry. On opening day, we sold out Corbett Field for the first time since 1997, and then we were able to do it again 6 more times. So we had a total of 7 sold-out games this summer, We were able to do this by putting a relentless focus on pre-sold tickets. So really our entire way of doing things, you guys are going to see a lot of messaging about our Hot Dish memberships in the next coming month, but we focus on pre-sold tickets because that determines the long-term success of a sports team. It's been really seen across sports everywhere, and most local to us, the team down in Bismarck that I came from. And so that is a huge focus for us, and that's why we're able to do that. Our goal next year is actually to sell out 17 games versus the 7. We had plenty of games with over 900 people there that didn't technically count as a sellout. So just some really exciting numbers. Our total attendance was 28,303 people in the ballpark this year. A little bit hard to compare. We couldn't find any concrete numbers from the team that was here in the past, but we do know it was an increase, and just a really exciting thing to look at as we move towards the future. Some other cool numbers on here is the broadcast. So we have a 4-camera HD broadcast of every single one of our home games. Really, this is, we had 13 games on ESPN Plus total. So it's a cool way to get the name about Minot and the Minot Hot Tots out there in a broader sense of nationwide coverage. Just in the ESPN Plus games alone, we had over 59,000 unique views on those games. The average viewers for Northwoods League games was about 4,000 unique viewers per game, so that's pretty cool. And then on the tourism side of things, we had 3,285 tickets purchased by fans outside of the Minot area this summer. 109 of those came from Canada. And then there were also 32 states represented. This does not include any of our player parents that come, as they all purchase tickets on our player will call list. So this is just actual, not player parents, just fans outside of that. So some really cool numbers. Definitely really excited to see what this looks like next year as we continue to grow. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the contribution to the local economy. So for those of you that were able to attend a game this summer, you probably saw that we do like to serve some local products if we can at the ballpark. So the first thing is our local food and beverage partners. Helping funnel over $80,000 into the local economy through these relationships. So this is with 7S Beef, Atypical Brewery and Barrel Works, Northern Bottling, Magic City Beverage, and Morelli's. So if you had a beer, soda, burger at the game, all local vendors there. Some team-related expenses. With the following companies, we try to work as locally as possible. And so we spent over $80,000 with these local companies throughout the year just for team-related expenses. So North Country Sportswear, Signco, Game One, Creative Property Management, Advanced Business Methods, SRT, Trinity Health Athletic Trainers, Wesley Ford, Hotel Rebel, Geffro Electric, DLC Construction, and I'm sure there are a few that I missed as well, but you know, everybody has to make that trip to Shields once or twice, right? On top of that, so this is a little bit different, but still the direct contribution to the local economy, but we also have these traffic generating promotions. So I don't know how many of you follow us on Facebook or on our e-newsletter or anything like that, but essentially our partnerships, some of them have these promotions where we are able to say, hey, what can we actually do to produce a return on investment for you? And how can we make it really fun for our fans to come to your business and spend money with your local business? So we partnered with 54 different local businesses this year through team sponsorships. But again, these ones are some that were just a little bit more unique than others. So our Shields Camo hat promotion, our oil change party with Trusted Tire and Auto, our pint glass promotion with Sports on Tap, our McDonald's Friends and Family deal, our secret envelope and baseball card promotions with Applebee's and Noodles and Company, and our Bears Cat Double Donut promotion. So with these events and promotions, we were able to generate over $40,000 to local businesses in the community. Moving on to investing in the ballpark. So again, hopefully you guys were able to see some of these investments, but in 2023, the Hot Tots spent over $100,000 aside from the numbers I just talked about in permanent renovations to the ballpark in order to really create the Northwoods League experience. So some of these were super visual. This one up here is the first base club renovation. So you can see here we built out about 15 feet onto the field there. What we had heard from fans in the past is that this area, it was kind of seen as this high-end area, but you couldn't really see through the chain link. It was, people liked to sit over here, but they weren't super close to the action. The chain link was hard to see through versus the netting and things like that. So again, this was one of the big renovations that was super visual. The other renovation that was pretty visual was our suite seats area. So again, one of the things we heard about sitting in the grandstand is that the chairs are really close together. They don't have anywhere to put their drinks or food or anything like that. So one of our sister teams in the Northwoods League did something similar to this. And so again, these two renovations, super visual, super popular. Both areas were about 90% sold out before the season even started. We're looking to add seats in both of these areas as well. So these were, I think, very necessary renovations in order to give that Northwoods League experience. A lot of like our corporate customers sit in these areas. They take out clients. They send an employee, and they get free food and drinks and other things like that included as well. So these were just super popular. People loved them. There was a couple others, before I get to this, there were a couple other in that $100,000 that maybe you didn't see because not many people did. So one renovation, we spent $40,000 to be able to host our 4-camera HD broadcast. This is required by the Northwoods League in order to be a team. Again, it varies from ballpark to ballpark what people spend. Most teams spend about $10,000. The reason that it was so much more is we had to board down to bury wires and things like that. That just nothing like this had ever been done in the facility, and so therefore it was a little bit more than it maybe normally would have cost. But again, this allows really any broadcast that comes to Corbett Field to be able to use that. I'm not super technical when it comes to electric wiring, but all of the systems that are in place now. A couple of additional behind-the-scenes installations, such as a 1,000-pound ice machine, 10x10 walk-in freezer as well at the ballpark. And then some of these are just some of the non-permanent investments. So we have 2 pitch clocks at the facility. We had our all-inclusive tents, our inflatables in the fun zone, tables and chairs on both of the first and third base sidelines. Our smoker pictured here, an oven. Again, just to name a few. I'm sure there's other ones, but those were kind of the major investments as well. Moving on to the workforce recruitment and retention. So this is a super cool thing. We have 6 full-time people in our front office. We're actually looking at expanding that number to 9 this year. Those people come from all over. We have a couple Minot local people, but we also have 19 interns this summer. So all but 3 of the 19 interns moved from out of state. I'm just going to list the states here from Minnesota, Virginia, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, California, Massachusetts, Louisiana, and New Jersey. So these interns moved from all over the country to come work for the Hot Tots during the summertime. We like to say it's one of the best experiences in sports. And again, coming from that far, it shows that it really is cool. We were trying to get more Minot people, though. So if you know anybody, tell them. But 19 interns, they call Minot home throughout the summertime. They shop at local businesses, eat at local restaurants, and all of that stuff. On top of that, though, we actually have 79 people that worked for us this summer as our game day team members. So if you came to a game, anybody in a yellow shirt, those are our local game day team members. Every single one is paid. We don't do any volunteers or anything like that. And then 20 of those chose the Hot Tots as their first job ever as well. So just some pretty cool numbers. On top of these, we also hosted 55 players for the Hot Tots, as well as 3 coaches. 300 visiting players, 30 visiting coaches, and 36 umpires throughout the season as well. So just some cool numbers there. Lastly, just through various, community events, promotions, our games themselves, our organization also helps better the quality of life for people in our community. So the Northwoods League strives to give people a minor league team experience in communities that may not be able to sustain a team of that level. So I put some cool pictures on here. I think this shows really all ages that are affected, from our hot toddies, our dancers that come out from Ellison Assisted Living, all the way down to, the nonprofits that come out, and the kids that take a picture with our mascot and do different things like that. So just some cool things there. The last thing I want to talk about is the development of the brand new Minot Northwoods League softball team. So many of you probably remember me coming out a few months back when I came to you to talk about the addition, and really just thank you to all of you for making it a reality. It's been really great. Again, I know that I think there are some people that have questions and things like that we can definitely help answer as we kind of move along here. Obviously, it's a totally new thing for the whole country, so definitely people in Minot are going to have questions, and whatever we can do to help with that, I think we are completely open to that, and I've kind of talked to Ellie about that as well. But just for diversity, inclusion, equality, but also opportunity, I said in our press conference when we announced, it's an opportunity for highly competitive collegiate female athletes to come compete. It's an opportunity for sports fans in Minot to see high-level competition right in their backyard. But maybe even more importantly, it will create an opportunity for young women in Minot to watch women excel in sports at an extremely high level, just as their brothers are able to do each summer with the Hot Tots. So just we're really excited moving forward with that, and we hope you guys are as well. But in conclusion, we have some big goals and a vision for the future of our organization and the community of Minot. And with your continued support, we can continue making an impact in the community. Any questions?
Thanks, Monica. Does anybody have any questions for Monica?
I got a couple kind of I was able to attend 4 of the 5 games in that deal.
Mhm.
Enjoyed it enough. I signed up again for next year.
Well, there you go. Thanks, Cliff.
Good baseball. You probably can tell about how old I am. When I sat in those seats, it's nice to get to the 7th inning stretch.
Yeah.
It's tight and more comfortable seats. If, somewhere down the road that could ever be worked out, I think that's a worthy goal to do that. He had 28,000 attendance. How many games?
36 home games,
So roughly 800 a game. and
roughly. Yep, just about.
Roughly 1,000 was sellouts, and
Yep.
anticipating even better next year. But even 800, I mean, there were a lot of people there.
Yeah.
So your product is good, and the management is, I would say, excellent to control that. And it's impressive to see what you've done and do that. So I guess I just say thank you, and we're glad you're part of the partnership to do this and that we can participate in it. It's a very successful year.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I got a quick question about the softball. It's all new.
Yeah.
It's very new. And at the end of the year, when the season starts, that's going to be when the College World Series is wrapping up. So it's actually perfect because you go into the season. Have you got any guarantees from like the big name schools that their players are going to be coming to this league, or how's that looking?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So we, now that, again, there's one more team that needs to announce kind of their location, but they will for sure be playing with 4 teams this summer. So now that we're at that point where they have all 4 leases locked in and everything like that, they're going to start on the recruiting quite a bit more. So they've talked about a couple of different options, but it's actually looking like they're going to do a draft of players for the first year, a little bit different than how they do for baseball. When they first announced, they had, over 100 female athletes sign up, like apply to play on the website. There's only about 80 spots in the league the first year. So specifically to your question about the caliber, I think there's some work to do on the Northwoods League side of things still. We have a couple of representatives going down to the softball coaching, I forget what it's called exactly, but like the coaching association meetings or whatever. So we have a couple of people going down to that to really kind of spread the word about this. We have had some good interest so far from certain players and things like that, just reaching out. But I still think that, again, the league reaching out to the big programs and really just getting the word out about it a little bit more on kind of a national level. So yes, but we're hoping so. I think eventually, absolutely. I think the first year too, I don't see why it wouldn't, but even we like to say that, like of 80 athletes that will play at a time in the first season of the league, we hope to get 80 of the top 200 players that are in the country. So that would be the goal. Yeah.
Anything else? If not, I appreciate it. Great.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Great presentation. So, all right, that'll move us on to the next part of the meeting. We have 2 meetings worth of minutes to approve. The minutes of the October 17th Park Board meeting, and then the October 23rd special board meeting we had at Roosevelt Park.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes of both of those meetings.
Second.
Motion by Mike, second by Ken. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's approved. Next on the agenda is the bills. Looking for a motion to approve the bills in the amount of $1,236,145.32.
That scares me a little bit. I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Cliff and second by Ken. Any discussion at all on the bills? If not, Callan, call the roll.
Hovda,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Kitzman,
Yes.
Hammer.
Yes. Bills are approved. Moving on to salaries. Looking for a motion to approve the salaries in the amount of $349,532.59.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Cliff, second by Mike. Any discussion at all? Not, Callan, call the roll.
Hovda,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Kitzman? Yeah. Hammer.
Yes. Salaries are approved. On the financials, Callan, anything to?
Just starting to get ready for year end and get ready for another audit, I suppose.
Yeah. Guess I don't know if this is under financials or maybe it's under department, under Jared's area, but I noticed on the financials, this soccer, we have no income yet. When's that normally get paid? Is that a?
We've, I believe, invoiced them, correct? We were just still waiting to collect.
Yeah, Park Board President, Commissioners, yes, in their user agreement, they have technically 2 pay periods throughout the summer. We have invoiced them, mailed them twice. I think we've emailed invoices a couple times. We have not received their payment yet for 2023.
You said there's 2 payment.
There's 2 payment options if they want to break it up.
Oh,
We offer that with all the flat fee.
So it's not, they're
Users
not
that we have.
required to make a payment and another payment, but they can make one.
No, they can make one. They could,
Okay.
if they want other arrangements, they can. Did double check and we have not heard from them.
Thank you. You might as well stay right there unless there's anything else in financials. If not, then we'll go to department reports. Jared, you're up first.
All right. Park Board President, Commissioners, just got a few updates to the report I submitted. One, I'll talk on horseshoes a little bit. We do take care of the outside periodically throughout the summer. Horticulture crew goes down and mows and does some trimming. We haven't done much on the inside of their fence because, again, that is their area. But I'm sure we can definitely work with the club and see if we can come to a helpful solution for them.
Yeah, and I guess I wasn't volunteering our staff to do it, but I was more having our staff.
No, and we have. I mean, a couple times a year we'll get down and take care of spray outside on the perimeter and things like that. But because we don't really know, well, should you spray inside a horseshoe pit area or not? So again, I'm sure we can work something out with them as we move forward.
Yep, absolutely. We'll sit down and meet with them and discuss it.
So again, on the report I submitted, just to give you an update since the last board meeting, did work with Pete. We did get the letter prepared and sent to KLJ in regards to LDs for Strata for the Shields complex. So at this point, we were looking at our last pay app, which was sent to the Strata on Friday, with a balance of roughly $19,000 that we would approve to pay out, and withholding a payment of $126,000 until we come to a solution on the liquidated damages. I said I needed it by 5 o'clock today if we wanted to try to submit it to get paid at this board meeting. Did not receive anything back from Brad, so my guess is they are looking at it at this point in time. So as soon as I know anything on that, I will on that side we'll inform the board. As far as the project, we are down to looking at a couple outlets. The water heater that was replaced was installed, but we had winterized it already, so we weren't able to test it. But those two would be warranty items anyway, and then a piece of concrete that just doesn't quite drain properly. And if for some reason, if it doesn't get addressed, we'll probably look at that when we do the paving project next summer. Then the last thing, Bechtold ran out of time, and they are not going to do that mill and the patch in that small area. So we'll monitor that in the spring and try to add material as needed to try to keep that functional in that early part of the spring and summer. But we did get the whole parking lot striped prior to, I guess, winter.
Sure. Okay.
So I'd answer any questions on that.
Any questions for Jared at all? No? Appreciate it.
And then the only other thing, unfortunately, 11th and 11th playground will be installed the first part of the spring. The installers ran behind, and they're still trying to finish up work in Fargo, and they were supposed to try to get out next week. But we did prep. James' crew did prep the site, so it'll be kind of fenced off over the winter, but it's ready for when they'll get here in the spring. And Larry Grandal did say we'll be number one on the list in the spring, so should get that accomplished right away.
Okay.
So other than that, I'd answer any questions at this time on my submitted report.
Anything for Jared? Okay, appreciate it, Jared.
Thank you.
Steve, you're up next.
Well, we had a very good year, and I just want to thank our excellent staff, and they're all coming back. They do a heck of a job. They're always courteous to the people and help them out, and I can't say enough about the staff we had at the golf course this year. And that's all I've got.
Anything for Steve? No. Move on to Mike.
Okay, we are halfway through our grinding and bed knife grinding, which is good. All our diesel equipment has been winterized, so we're in good shape for the winter so far, if you can call it winter. It's been very nice out there.
Yeah, it'll get to us. Don't worry. Anything for Mike at all? Not. Move on to Jeff. The zoo.
Most of my updates are just with animal stuff. Our female tiger, Victoria, was successfully loaded on Sunday, arrived in Salina, Kansas. Everything's good there. We're expecting a male tiger to arrive from Grand Rapids, Michigan tomorrow morning. Maintenance will be there to help us unload, hopefully. We didn't receive the bird we thought we were going to get last Thursday due to weather, so we may not see it till next spring, just too cold. And then the cranes, we plan to move out in the next couple of weeks. We finally got everything cleared up with that. And after that, then we'll turn that building over to maintenance so they can salvage all the usable equipment. And I want to share a quick note that I received about a week or 2 weeks ago. Lady from Stanley said, "I've been to your park the last 2 summers and have enjoyed it very much. Thanks for all your employees that do such a good job to keep it all so clean. Also, this donation, please use this donation where it's most needed." The note came with a check for $10,000 to the zoo. So,
Awesome.
unless you got any other questions.
Anything for Jeff? So, okay, we'll move on to Bob.
Bob, what'd you get in the mail?
A new ice resurfacer?
I got a new ice resurfacer. No, that's great, Jeff. Congratulations. Yeah, so the Engo ice resurfacer I've done Thursday. James is going to help me out and get the electrician over hopefully after the holidays. And once the power is set up, Steve will be making his way here either late next week or the following week and start training our staff. And then I'm also working with Brock Delories from First International Bank and their staff and the person that will be doing the wrap and getting that all lined up once that gets ready. And we'll get that one done. And then they're also looking at possibly rewrapping the existing machine that we have at the Pepsi rink right now before we move that over to the other side. So it's a beautiful machine. It's a lot different than the other ice surfaces we have, but the features we have and everything, our staff already is in love with it and can't wait to get it on the ice and get it going. So the other thing is our high school hockey teams have started practice, and we have our first official game at the Pepsi rink in about 40 minutes. Our high school girls take on Bismarck Century, so all user groups have started and are in their season. And then the last thing, just to update you, I know Executive Director Delories has kind of met with you on this, but we did have our, Jared and I did meet with all the user groups over our future Pepsi game scheduling, and I thought the meeting last week went very well. Everyone, of course, looks out for their own programs and is kind of fighting for their programs, but they also understood where we were coming from and the difficulties that we have trying to get everyone on one game sheet. So I think we've got a plan moving forward. Mr. Porter is going to report back to the North American Hockey League again. That's the kind of the sticking point that we have because they don't schedule till the end of their season. Everyone else is scheduling now. So he's going to try to see if they can fast track that a little bit, and we're going to sit down and try to work out some dates for Minot State so they can start scheduling with some of the dates before we have turn-in dates for the Toro. So I thought it was very, very well received, and I think everyone's on the same page trying to work together, and we'll just keep moving forward and keep communicating like we are, and I think we can make it work. So that went better than I anticipated, and I thank Jared and Ellie for their assistance as well, and I'll keep posted, but I think we've got at least a plan moving forward as a group. So other than that, we're just in maintain mode now for the next 4 or 5 months, and just a lot of hockey, and youth tournaments are starting next month, and everyone's ready to go as a staff. So I'll answer any questions at this time.
Anything for Bob? Okay, thank you, Bob. On to James with maintenance.
Okay. Jared mentioned my crew's been busy this week getting prepped for a playground at 11th and 11th. We just found out today that that's not going to happen till spring, but I guess the good side of that is we're ready for that. So also we've been getting outdoor rinks, kind of weeds knocked down, raked up, ready for flooding if the temperatures allow. And we've also been working at the zoo on the zebra barn, salvaging any usable equipment out of that, and we'll stockpile that at the warehouse. Yeah, other than that, just getting everything maintained and serviced and ready for spring.
Good. Anything for James at all?
What do you guys do with the lights?
That was Shannon and Troy's crew that did that. Yeah. Yep.
She'll be up next, so she can talk about that next.
Yeah.
So, anything for James? Anything else? Not? Okay, Shannon?
Okay, yes, we did do quite a few lights up at Scandinavian Park for their lighting ceremony that happened on Friday. They had a really large attendance, no place to park. It was really a fun event. Troy's staff did most of the light work up in the trees, but then we kind of assisted with plugging things in. They did have some base volunteers also that helped. So most of our holiday decorating within the parks and kind of some of the outlying areas is complete, barring any lights going out overnight. So we've been working on that. That's complete. My plant order is finished for next summer. Numbers are looking a little less than they normally are because of the MI7 project that's going to be running through Roosevelt Park. So I'm anticipating between 5,000 and 6,000 less plants for next year. So I may have a little bit of room in the greenhouse. We'll see. Other than that, I don't have anything else to report. Happy Thanksgiving.
Good. Anything for Shannon? Not Troy?
Well, tonight seems to be the night to talk about numbers, so I'm going to throw some numbers out there at you guys a little bit. I did put in my report some tree management statistics for this last year of 2023. I just wanted to compare them to our 2022 numbers that we had real quick. So in 2023, this year, we planted 247 trees. This year, in 2022, we planted 248, so difference of one tree is all. So staying pretty even there. This year, we pruned 840 trees. The previous year was 389. Difference of 451 more trees pruned this year compared to last year. So, and then removals, we did 181 this year. The previous year was 124, with a difference of 57 more trees this year that were removed compared to the year before. I contribute the changes to, we're using our tree inventory software it's more of its to its potential, which keeps a lot better track of the work orders and jobs. And then the crew is really good that we got going on right now. They don't like sitting around. They're always like, what's next? And keeping me on my toes. So I appreciate them. So if you guys have any questions, I can.
Great work. So
thank you.
Any questions for Troy? Not Tom, you're up next.
We did host the District 12 and Region 6 volleyball tournaments at the auditorium this past month. They went well, and they signed up for next year. We also have Minot High North basketball, as you could hear earlier I don't know what they were doing down there, but that was girls' side, and the boys are over on the auditorium, and then they switch back and forth weekly. And then we hosted various dances. We had a craft fair. We also had a new to this year, as long with the veterans program, we also hosted a veterans dinner. So that was good. But that's all I got, really, if you have any questions.
So Tom, I got a question for
Yep.
with basketball coming up, with especially. So now, is there going to be another class? Is there 3 classes of basketball now? So
Yeah.
Is that going to affect districts and regionals and that?
Well, the auditorium will be hosting 14 days of tournaments in February out of the 29 days.
For all Class B stuff?
We will have boys Class B, and then we will have girls Class A and some girls Class B.
Okay.
But we are also excited. We're gonna host a super day, kind of like, okay, so the region first place in each region will go, and then now they're making it where, let's say Williston's region and Minot's region will play each other. The number 2 will play the number 3 from each region, and whoever wins that will be like second place from that region. And then there's 4 games like that, so we're going to host that too. So the winners of those games are going to go to state. So those days will be huge for us.
The play-in game for the state tournament.
Yep, they just won't be the first place team. They'll be the second. There's only 4 regions in the state, so they'll be the second place team from that region and the second place from this region. So yeah, those are going to be fun.
Sure. Okay, good. Anything for Tom? No. Ann, you're up next.
We are putting an order together with Shields to order some new skis, snowshoes, and archery equipment. So we're excited about that. We have some snowshoes and skis, but we've had them around for a while, so we'll have some new stuff that was budgeted. And then we will have ice skates at all 4 of our warming houses this year, brand new hockey skates for kids to rent very reasonably or borrow, whichever comes about. Also, the next program on my list is winter volleyball, and we've got 50 teams, so we had a good sign up for that. That starts December 3rd.
Okay. Anything for Ann? Oh, okay. Mark, tennis.
Tennis from our pathway for junior development. Is the couple dates Tuesday all one. Christmas football class.
Okay, perfect. Any questions for Mark? No? Okay, thank you. Move on to new business. We already went through the hot tots. The next on the agenda is the Outdoor Recreation Trails Phase 2 bid documents.
All right, Park Board President Commissioners, I'll do the best I can to kind of run through the Outdoor Family Rec Area Phase 2 that Ellie has been working on for quite a long time. So up on the screen right now is the layout of the Phase 2. The Phase 1 was obviously on the upper left side, with the yellow trail being the natural trail that's already existing. The concrete trails, you can kind of see the layout. It's hard to see. So what we're talking about is the red hatched line. It kind of looks like 2 big loops, 3 loops into the rest of the property. The red hatched line will add about 3 miles of new trail, of natural trail. A parking lot right there is in the bottom right corner, or the northeast corner of the property, which will just be made out of like recycled asphalt. About a half a dozen benches sprinkled throughout the trail. I think there's approximately 5 culvert crossings over wetlands, which is not flowing water. These are just kind of wet, possible wet areas. The important things for about 4 doggy pot stations sprinkled throughout the area. Hopefully people use them. We'll be putting a couple, trash receptacles up in that parking lot area. But again, it kind of gives you, a couple different routes coming off the, either out of the parking lot on that northeast corner, or you can access, 4 different spots off the existing natural trail. So I think overall it'll put us with the hard surface natural trails well over 5 miles of trail in this area. So, I mean, kind of a couple other highlights. Again, we had that delay because of the cultural resource study. They did find a couple areas of cultural resource locations. One, we did have to adjust the trail just a little bit, which is in that upper right corner or the northwest corner if you're looking at the property. Again, had to move the trail about 15 feet because you have to have about 20 feet because you have to about 20 feet buffer. So you do not disturb it. And basically what they were was, kind of a circular rock area, which you'd say was for a fire or something like that. I'm sure there's more details in that report. I don't know if it's 54 pages, Cliff, but it's quite lengthy to get to that. So, and then there was another one that's, you can kind of see it. It's right in the middle of the big loop. So, until any other construction happens down the road, that really shouldn't affect anything that we're doing right now. So if you move over to the next page is opinion of cost of the project. Estimated construction cost, approximately $198,000, with a $19,000 contingency, with A&E and everything. Would be looking at an overall cost of about $219,000. So, and again, we talked about it, but I can't remember the grant dollar amount that Ellie had.
So you can go ahead with it, Cal.
Sure. Yeah.
Numbers guy.
Numbers, sorry. Cal.
Oh, no, I have it in front of me, but go for it.
Yeah, we have a grant for $210,000. That is a 80-20 split that we would match 20% of the total project cost to get awarded that. So.
And we have the matching grant that we've carried over the past couple years.
Yeah.
Waiting to get the cultural study completed. So
correct.
So we're looking at the cost to us being about 20%.
yes, and a lot of that we've paid all.
Yeah, and we've paid about $50K on top of what this would be in aid already, and that can all be included into what the grant will pay for. So I think with what we've paid out, we're looking at only a few $1,000s additional that we would have to cover.
Because I'll try to answer any questions on the trail layout at this point, if there is any.
So we'd be looking at building another parking lot up in the northeast corner.
It's right, kind of, if you're up in that area, it's where the corral used to be for the cattle. So, I mean, we have the gate in there right now. We're actually going to try to reuse the big railroad ties for corner posts to cut down cost, and it's just going to be recycled asphalt. So that's all part of that project. We are going to look to bid it out in the project, and depending on the cost, if we need to make some adjustments, we might take on some of that work ourselves, depending on cost and where we're at in our season at that time. James.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah,
Thomas?
a couple. It looks to be that it was designed to be mostly the perimeter of the current golf course plan and is not overlapping that much. I'm sure that was taken into consideration.
Commissioner,
when you say
they had a layout of the holes when they were doing the
when you say
trail.
natural, does that mean you just curve through what's there? Do we put any surface on it at all?
No, they'll just again cut and grub the trail area, and it's just natural. I mean, if it's wet, it's going to be a little bit wet, and, But
are there any restrooms planned?
No, not at this point in time until we probably get to phase 3 of the original side.
Okay. And then that new little parking spot up there, if the golf course were ever built, would that have to be perhaps revamped? Is that maybe the entrance going up there?
Yeah, Commissioner Huff, the parking lot's for about 10, maybe 10 cars.
Oh.
It's very similar to Woodland Trail parking lot, but just, you know, non-permanent material that we can, I mean, if we had to dig it out and move it, we can dig it out.
No big deal.
Yeah, no
Okay.
big deal.
It looks good. I think my guess is what's there is already being used a lot. I've had a lot of feedback on that, all positive. And walked it myself several times. You get the right weather, it's tremendous. And this will be even better. So, yeah, I'm strongly in favor of this.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, you know, a high community impact at a, you know, relatively low cost, especially with the grant funding. So yeah, if the board approves this, they will put it out for bid tomorrow. Looking at bid openings December 19th at 11 a.m. And, you know, they'll do everything they can to get us an accurate concrete number for the board meeting in December to move forward. So that's what I would be asking for tonight to move forward.
And who is the A&E on this?
KLJ.
Okay. All right, so Jared's looking for a motion to approve this. Is there any discussion on this? Any more questions for Jared? Anybody willing to?
I would move that we approve the plan and approve putting it out for bids tomorrow.
Motion
Or
by,
as soon as possible.
motion by Cliff. Seconded by Ken. Is this a roll call or can we just?
Roll call.
Okay.
Funny, yeah.
Colin, is there any further discussion at all? Not. Colin, call the roll.
Loveday?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Gitzman?
Yes.
Hammer?
Yes. Motion is approved.
All right. Thank you very much.
Going on to down the agenda, old business. We already covered all the old business. Is there any other business at all? I don't believe so. Looks like we don't have any no alcohol permits to approve. Golf simulator must not be getting used very much. No, most of them are for.
It'll be next month.
Next month we'll have a plethora of them. So, okay, on to the director's report then.
All right, we covered a lot of the things we've been working on, but just a few more. Superfund site update. I can say we've had regular scheduled meetings with the city of Minot, the state Department of Environment, and then also the EPA. We have another one coming up next week, so they are extremely motivated to get this off of their plate. It's been good meetings. It's farther down the line discussion than I have had since I've been at the Park District. So that is very hopeful for me. Me and Jason are going to meet up and kind of talk about our plans. One of the concerns they have, which is concerns we have on a lot of our properties, is how do you stop vehicle traffic from getting onto it when you open up the fence lines. So just working on a plan with the city on that and getting some better estimates with Ackerman Esfold on that project. So we'll continue to move forward and I'll keep you updated as that goes on. SHA agreement, we're going to sit down and meet with them. We have a very preliminary draft of that agreement. So sitting down with all those groups, Pete will be involved with that, of course. And moving forward, we'll be meeting on the pump track master plan. As I said last month, we got a $75,000 grant for that project, working on the entire master plan for that area. We will have a better kind of picture of what we would like to see moving forward, and we would like to show you guys, hopefully in December, January, to keep that moving. I did present to Hess on a grant presentation for the outdoor rec for some conservation signage to talk about the vegetation that is out there, animals that are out there. And I think it would also be neat once we have that cultural survey out there, now that we have that information at our fingertips, including some signage and information on that as well. So I will find out about those grants in January, and then land and water conservation grant will be out in January as well. I'm looking to apply for the Superfund site with that. And the last thing I have on my list is board retreat. Kind of in December, I guess I would ask you guys to maybe bring some dates. I would say after our January board meeting, towards the end of January, beginning of February, that we could have a full day for the most part to just sit down and discuss where we're at as park districts with all of our master planning and our 5-year plan, so we can just have a good day of discussion and how we would like to move forward as a park district. So just please keep that on your radar. And then very lastly, just thank you to our staff. It's Thanksgiving this week already, which seems absolutely crazy. We've had a definite year of transition. I appreciate all you guys. I've been asked a lot in the past couple months how the transition is going. And I don't say this just to say this, but it's not that there hasn't been overwhelming days and moments by any means, but it's made a lot easier because of all of you guys in this room. And obviously, thank you to our leadership as well. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. That's what I got. You guys have any questions?
Any questions for Ellie at all? Okay, if not, we'll move on to commissioners' reports. Cliff, you could lead us off.
Been a busy month for me personally, just a lot of good things, new granddaughter and all that stuff. But and then after looking at that audit, I frankly hadn't have a lot of time to look at your folks' stuff after I got a headache doing that. But I like to kind of point out 1 or 2 units when I look at them a little more in depth each time, and I did get a chance to look at the golf one just because I saw the activity out there, and I noticed the revenue was way up. Expenses were up, but not nearly as much, so it was a very, very good year. Observation on that is, it seems to me, and Steve would make the decision, but it seems to me the balance between numbers of tournaments and regular play is pretty good. I do play with a group of guys that'll let you know what's happening if they think they're being shortchanged, and I didn't get an excessive amount of complaints. I think that's pretty good, and Steve has to manage that, so good work there. And on top of that, I play a lot of golf courses in a lot of places. With all the play in the golf course was maintained and held up really well. And that's to the maintenance crew on doing that, because it's like all of you folks are doing. You all have more work. You all have more to do. There's more work in that area too. So in that portion of it, well done, both of you gentlemen. That's all.
Mike, go ahead.
No, just as usual, good job by everybody. I saw the reports here and all you guys' verbal reports tonight too. It looks like you guys probably had about a week break from the summer to the winter months coming in here, the transition, and it seems like nothing fell off at all. It's like you've been busier, and it's just like I said, I appreciate everything you guys do, and just officially Thursday starts the holiday season for the next month, and I just hope that, happy holidays to you all, and I hope you guys can kind of tone it down a little bit and enjoy your family. I know you guys are busier than heck and doing everything, but take your time out, enjoy the family, and for yourself too, because it's a busy time of the year, the summer, and it looks like you said, ramping up again. But just make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I appreciate everything that you guys have done. Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Be thankful for. Always say thank you. I mean that. All of us do amazing things. Put the right thing for the right reason. Always say happy Thanksgiving.
All right. I just would echo. I was hopefully everybody can have a couple days off and enjoy Thanksgiving and eat too much turkey, and you want drink too much beer, whatever you're into. So yeah. So happy Thanksgiving. So that brings us to the end of our meeting. I'll look for a motion to adjourn. Mike?
Second.
Second by Cliff. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're adjourned. On to the foundation meeting. Call the meeting to order. Any personal appearances? Doesn't seem to be so. We'll be looking for an approval of the minutes from our October 17th foundation meeting. Moved by Ken, seconded by Cliff. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. On to approval of bills. Looks like we have one bill for Ingo equipment for $114,800. We must have made a down payment on that. Is that correct? And this would be is this the final payment then for everything?
Correct.
That's it? Okay. So we're looking for a motion to approve this bill. There's any.
Move to approve.
Moved by Cliff.
I'll second.
Second by Mike. Any discussion at all? Not, Callan, call the roll, please.
Upda.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Kitzman.
Yes.
Hammer.
Yes. Bills are approved. On to the September statement. Is there any, Callan, anything to report?
No, I have nothing to add.
Okay. Any questions for Callan at all? Not. New business? Doesn't appear to have any. Other business? Doesn't appear to be any. Look for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Ken, second by Cliff. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.
Staff. I mean, everybody.